The Sustainable Landscapes Humber Programme has been developed by Future Food Solutions with Yorkshire Water and Birdseye after spending 3.5 years engaging farmers in a series of projects exploring the synergy between on-farm soil health and ground and surface water quality and management. Improving soil structure results in better yields, longer growing periods, increased water retention, reduced soil erosion and more effective nutrient retention for farmers. To start with, the project will operate in both Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. The River Hull rises in North Yorkshire and flows south through the East Riding across thousands of acres of arable farmland. Geologically, this area is unique in that the river catchment sits nearly exclusively on a foundation of clay, which precludes significant surface to groundwater ingress. The geological structure results in any large rain-related weather events overloading the rivers, holding capacity and all surplus water discharging quickly through Kingston upon Hull into the River Humber, making Hull the second most UK city at risk of serious flooding. Here are the thoughts of some of the partners involved in the programme.
Hi there, my name's Liz Barber and I'm the Chief Exec of Yorkshire Water. We have set up Beyond Nature, where we're working with young farmers in the uplands of Yorkshire, and we work with them to farm differently, to farm in a way that is better for land, is better for carbon, and actually provides us with a nice clean water supply. We're also working with some farmers in the Lowerland regions of Yorkshire in an initiative called Sustainable Landscapes, and that's where we're here today. We've been listening to how farmers working in our partnership are working very differently, and again, it actually is great for carbon, it's great for their business, it's great for nutrient use, which is taking carbon right out of the cycle, and it means that we don't end up treating chemicals that farmers use in our land out of the water. So it's great for everybody, it makes the whole system more resilient, and it reduces carbon significantly all the way through the food and water chain.
I've spent all my working life talking about soil, digging in soil, playing with soil, measuring soil. I've seen it as a very important part of farming, and now of course we're starting to talk about a healthy planet. We're starting to talk about the role that soil can play in climate change and global warming and reversing the impact of human activities. For me, the real strength to the programme is collaboration, and it's being able to link farmer right the way through from soil to supermarket, and being able to say at each point everybody walks away with the benefit.
We're the second biggest landowner in Yorkshire. We own something like 28,000 hectares of land. Only the Queen owns more land than we do in Yorkshire. And we've known for some time that the way in which we manage that land has an impact on the quality of the water that we have to treat, has an impact on flooding. So we sat there and thought, well actually, if we linked up with the other people who own large areas of land in Yorkshire, what sort of impact might that have? So we gathered together a group, including ourselves, church commissioners, Crown Estates, National Trust, people like the NFU and the Country Landowners Association, and said, well, why can't we work together? And we got a lot of enthusiasm for doing that. And the first project we're looking at is carbon. And we're running a pilot project of that to see if we can create a functioning carbon market here in Yorkshire. Projects like the Sustainable Landscapes work here in the Humber is just a perfect example of collaboration which is in everybody's interests.
Relationships with farmers are really key for us. You know, we are out in the field like today. Teams of field staff in the Birdseye team are there with farmers on a regular basis, building that relationship. And through that, we've been able to actually affect some change. You know, that's the incredibly exciting bit. We've changed things on biodiversity, we've changed things on water management, we've changed things on the quality of the product as well, which for me is very much at the heart of sustainability. And now, of course, this is why this is so exciting for us. I can see more change coming when we talk about this cover crop project.
Well, we're sat just outside Lothson Bridge Treatment Works. It's one of two treatment works on the Derwent. There's Elvington further upstream. Lothson Bridge, we produce about 70 million litres of water a day, and that provides the people of Hull with their drinking water. But the water that we abstract from the Derwent is contaminated with sediments, but also pesticides as well. So between the two treatment works, we take around 23,000 tonnes of sediment out of that river every year, and that currently goes to landfill. So what we're trying to do is to say, actually, if we farm our landscape in a more sustainable way, recognising what good soil health can deliver, it'll deliver me a better water quality, so it doesn't cost as much to treat, but it also starts to provide more nutrients, if you like, availability for farmers, but also flood attenuation too. So there's real benefits of focusing on soil health, not just for water quality, but for a whole range of outcomes that these soils can help us deliver.
At Birdseye, we've been growing peas in the UK for 75 years. Clearly, innovation has taken us through at every point in that journey to where we are today. Collaboration is so significant for ourselves within the Birdseye supply chain. We've worked with generations of farmers and we're working with third and fourth generations farmers today. But it's so important that we start to widen our thoughts and our focus in terms of the way that we're working collaboratively with different partners across the region now, and therefore working with Sustainable Landscapes and Future Food Solutions and building on that partnership with Yorkshire Water is so critical at this time, because we need to action not just on a 10,500 hectare scale within the Birdseye pea supply chain, but on a much wider level. And therefore, as the brand that we are, and with the impact that we can make working collaboratively with the likes of Yorkshire Water is so important.
It's gone really well. I mean, despite a very difficult year with the weather and despite the global pandemic, we've actually managed to make really good progress. The cover crops sown post peas mostly have done really well, and what's quite interesting is how much nitrogen they've captured. In a normal season would have just had the potential to be leached out into the water, whereas actually this year we've captured it in the cover crops and will be available for future cropping.
It was quite a unique challenge for us, something very new. We had to find a field that was suitable for the time project, so it was in the catchment that drained into the River Hull. Subsequently, speaking with the grower, it's a new concept for a lot of people, to make sure that they're on board with it, making sure that the establishment of the cover crop was done correctly, and then management ready for cut down, and ultimately getting the land prepared as they are today for sowing the following wheat crop. It's not necessarily a quick change in all cases, because people don't always have the same machinery. It's an evolution of farming, as I believe we're really sort of moving forwards into that at the minute. But very positive. I think farmers definitely understand the benefits that cover crop bring, be it in terms of less leaching of nutrients, the carbon capture approach, all these things we really have to do our bit for the environment with the custodians. Yeah, they've really embraced it.
So if we understand how we can retain moisture and nutrients at the field scale, we can scale this up and model how water retention can be improved across the catchment by improving things like organic matter retention and the introduction of cover crops to reduce soil erosion and to improve that water uptake.
And finally, we use nature-based solutions to manage flooding. It means that if actually we can use nature-based solutions to keep water out of our system, particularly in a period of climate change, it means that we're not building bigger pipes, we're not building pumps, and actually that water stays safely on the surface. Now, these three things all look like different initiatives, but it's all the same thing. It's all about working really well with nature to provide a more resilient business for us, a more resilient approach to climate change for society, and it takes a lot of carbon out of the system.
But the really exciting thing for me from the Landscapes programme is that we're getting the supply chain involved. They actively want to be involved in shaping the way that catchment looks, because they see the benefits too, but also they're playing their part in helping mitigating flooding in Hull, which I think a key outcome from this project will be.
I think the important thing now is to look at where the rotation goes. So next year the pea crops will be followed by wheat, and we're already talking to potential buyers of wheat within the UK who are looking and interested in low carbon, even potentially zero carbon wheat supply going forward. And those sort of collaboration across the whole supply chain, but across a number of supply chains, give us a unique opportunity to do something world class and sort of be a trailblazer for future projects.
And you've got some fantastic advocates out there now, each group doing incredible things. And I think if I was to sum it up, phenomenal success. I would say to go from a standing start with a few pioneers and key pilot farms into what is the beating agricultural heart of the UK, and say to farmers, we'd like you to change what you've been doing for generations and have them come along the journey with you. I think that's a fantastic achievement.